Good morning, everybody. Day 89 on the trail. A little cool this morning. A lot of condensation in the air. The trees are filtering it and dripping it down, but it's not rain. It's supposed to be a nice day, actually. The next shelter, which I believe is Bearfence, not sure, is 13.5 miles. Sir and I are gonna go for that, and we'll see if we come up short. We'll have to stealth camp somewhere. It's about 7:30, a little late of a start today, but other than that, a good start. So we'll see you further up the trail. All right, there's a yellow poplar, easily 4 feet across. It's a monster tree. Look at that beauty. That's a beautiful tree. Look at my pole. Wow. All right, we're about 1.5 miles from Swift Run Gap. Moving slow, but moving along. I'll bring you back on for any good stuff. There's some bloodroot. And over here, we have false Solomon seal. Remember, Solomon seal has the flowers underneath. False Solomon seal has the flowers and the fruit at the end of the stem. All right. Yeah. In the midst of a 800 or 900 foot climb. Getting there, nice trail, reasonable grade. Just taking a little breather and just looking around. Right. Here we got, remember this? Striped maple, but, hang on, it's hard. It's producing fruit or seeds. These are called samaras. As a kid, we used to call them banana noses on the maples because if you peel open the seed compartment partially and it was sticky and you could put it on your nose and you would have a thing like that sticking out from your nose. So we called them banana noses. All right. Now, as I've done these trees with you, I've tried to avoid using scientific names, unless it's the only name I had for it. And a question I often get is, why do we name stuff with scientific names, Latin or Latinized words for scientific names? There's a reason for it. First, let me tackle why we use Latin or Latinized names. Latin is a dead language. A language that is not dead, a currently used language, evolves, changes, words change meaning, new words come into play, which is fine, but their meaning can be changed and mean different things. Since Latin's a dead language, it's not evolving constantly, and the words have a specific meaning as they always were, and so it doesn't adapt to current conditions, social conditions, stuff like that. So that's why Latin is used. Why scientific names? Uh, the best reason to say is so that two people talking about a species know exactly what species they're talking about. Let me give an example. In New York, there's a game bird called ruffed grouse. But if you go in northern New York, locally they call it partridge. There are other partridges, gray partridges, Hungarian partridges. So if someone says partridge, what are we talking about? All right. You're talking on, to someone, you say, oh, I saw a partridge. Different, might have different meanings to different people. When someone discovers a species, of course, they get to name it. So they try to, it gets put into the genus that they feel is, they think is appropriate. And generally the species name, they get the name, and they use a Latin word or a Latinized word to name it. So now if two people, we'll say scientists, are talking about sugar maple, they're going to say Acer saccharum, and both scientists will know exactly what plant they're talking about. So that's the purpose of scientific names, to clearly identify specific organisms. Most organisms are identified by a genus name and a species name. But sometimes there are subgroups of even species. So races, essentially races, or geographically isolated species, things like that. So essentially that's why we use scientific terms in describing organisms in the world. Okay, here we have opposite branching, okay, maple-like leaves, but this is a viburnum. This is a maple leaf viburnum, and as you can see, it's about to flower out. So pretty pink maple leaf viburnum. That's the Caprifoliaceae family. That's part of the madcap horse saying. All right, but here's a whole bunch of it. So you can see it's about 3-4 feet high. It looks a lot like a maple. It looks a lot like red maple, actually. Yeah. So All right, it's 4 o'clock. The Lewis Mountain campground was full, so we're pushing on the extra mile to Bearfence Hut. Makes a long day for Sir, but he'll tough it out. We'll spend the night there. Chance of rain tonight and rain tomorrow. So it might be a not so nice day tomorrow. But we'll see how it goes. And then I'll bring you back when we get to the hut. Bearfence Hut. Another group of guys here hanging out. Good friends, camping. So we're ready for bed. As soon as it gets dark, we're ready to close our eyes. And that'll be it for tonight.